Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you will know that somehow I've actually made it into my third year of medical school and I can't quite believe we have got this far. But I thought today was the perfect day to look back on my very first week of medical school to see all the mistakes that I made and everything that I did wrong, so you don't have to do them too, but also just to reflect on how much has changed since then and how far we have come. So if you are as excited as me for today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new or haven't subscribed, what are you doing? And make sure you click that little button and notification bell now for a little bit of something for everyone and just my crazy journey through medical school, the highs and lows and just getting through it all together. Now I've got my laptop here and we're just going to sit and go through this together, but it is going to be so bizarre to me because I've literally not rewatched this video since editing it 2 years ago and I already look so young, and probably I'm going to be really awkward as well because this was right at the beginning of starting my YouTube channel as well, where my name was Everyday Anna, and since then we've had a big rebrand to Anna Rebecca. But anyway, enough rambling, let's get on and start the video. Someone tell me why my hair is so dark, and also my eyelash extensions are so long, but good job, make the most of it for the first 2 years, Anna, because in clinical years no eyelash extensions and no nails either, so pre-clinical years are the time to do that.
Now I'm so excited to see what it's going to be like this year. Obviously it is very different because of coronavirus.
That is the thing about my freshers and first week of medical school, it was all very different because I probably went to university at the worst possible time. In the UK we just had a lockdown that had eased and I just went off to university. However, the next couple of months, little did I know, it was just going to get worse and worse and worse, more restrictions, and by October, November time there was basically another lockdown. So poor little Anna here didn't know what she got herself in for.
I actually had quite a bit of sleep to start me off on the week. It's probably the best night's sleep I've had since I got here.
Well done, Anna. I don't know if you want some sort of award for your very first day of medical school, getting a good amount of sleep, but that is only going to slip throughout the term and you're quickly not going to have enough time to get enough sleep. I am only joking. I do try really hard not to prioritise work over sleep, but it's much easier said than done, and when there's just so much going on or I'm really stressed, it is often one of the first things to slip, but it's so bad and it also affects my mental health so much, so I really try hard not to do it. But I am often really tired at medical school and use the holidays to catch up on sleep. So I'm very pleased for me that the first day I did manage to get a good sleep.
So I'm going to try and work like 9 till 4, 9 till 5 today.
I was working a 9 to 4, 9 to 5. Let me know if you're a medical student or doctor and managed to get all your work done in a 9 to 4. I mean, you have to start somewhere, and especially after I had my gap years, it was quite hard getting back into a good working routine. It came back really fast, but starting with a 9 to 4, I guess, is somewhere that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, you don't need to take hours and hours because I do think you can be more productive in a shorter use of time, but I think medical school is a little bit more work than that.
It is now 1 o'clock and I've actually been on Zooms all morning. I met my M group.
Oh my gosh, one thing I do not miss about restrictions are the Zooms in my small group. I think medicine was quite lucky in comparison to other courses that we had a lot of really good online learning. However, they tried to do our small group teachings, which is like a discussion through Zoom, and just no one was really that interested. I also think it's so hard to absorb information like that, and I feel really lucky that this year we've had way more of that in person, and going forward, fingers crossed, everything will be good to have in person. Small group teachings especially as well.
So I'm going to go through and write some flashcards on that. So far, this is how I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to write flashcards on everything and then notes on what I actually need to on my iPad. So
I remember so well this first week feeling so overwhelmed with new modules, how I was going to take my notes, the transition from sixth form, because teaching at university is just completely different. And one thing I would say is don't feel completely rushed at the beginning to have your note taking or how you're doing things completely sorted, because it is just going to take you a little bit of time to transition and work out what new method works best for you. And the best thing to do at the beginning is to try lots of different methods and see what you find most efficient. Before you commit to one and write all of your notes or flashcards in that style, it's much better to pick around at the beginning before you've got that bank, and it's a lot harder to change to a different style. Have I ever read those notes on my iPad? No.
So I've literally just been on my Zooms, and I have to say there is literally so much content. I already feel behind.
Now this is another thing I remember so well, is just being thrown loads of content and being like, oh, I don't get that, so I try a different module, and being like, oh, I don't get that either. Then the next module, I have no idea what is going on, and I just felt like I was so stupid and didn't get anything. But trust me, in hindsight, it really does get easier, and I think they do this thing where they do throw hard content at you at the very beginning, and there's no guide and no easing into it like sixth form. It's just like bam, and you've got it straight away. But I just wish that I knew and reminded myself that if you are clever enough to get into medical school, you get the grades, you are more than clever enough to deal with the content. The hard thing about medical school is not the actual content itself, it's the amount of it, and that is all about technique and revision techniques, not how clever you are. And you can do this, you will be absolutely fine. It just takes some time to get your head around.
Do the rest tomorrow, I think, because I want to go to the gym now, and then I'm going to actually go and meet.
This is another tip. I absolutely love exercise and going to the gym still, but I will not go ever at 4 o'clock. I either use it to break up my day at 11 o'clock, or go first thing to feel like it's done, or go at the very end of the day. I feel like doing it at 4 o'clock is such a bizarre time for me now. You would never catch me there, just because for me that is peak focus mode. I get a really good amount of work done then, and I think it's a really important tip that people don't speak about enough. But I always like to make sure at peak times when I know my brain is most active, I am working, and then I can use other times where I'm either tireder because I'm not very good at working very late, or also I always get a bit of a mid-afternoon slump. Knowing your body clock and what works best for you is key to being the most productive during the day.
I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone. So I've just got back from the student union bar, which is called Joe's.
So I'm not sure why I didn't actually vlog Joe's bar. I think I was just really nervous. So there is an awful lot of my room going on. It would have been lovely to see my M group. However, I do remember going in being like, wow, I found this all really intense, really hard. How was everyone finding it? And I was so shocked when everyone was like, no, it's really easy. I'm finding it absolutely fine. And I think this was a big culture shock. And sometimes medical school can really be like this. And people do put on a front of saying they're finding things absolutely fine, when maybe it is creeping up on them. Maybe they're absolutely breezing and it's all right. But I do find a lot of people just don't say and let it build up. Whereas I've always been really honest and open about saying how hard I find things, which I think is way better. And also you will find people like you who find it hard as well, and also like talking about it. But don't be alarmed if a lot of people say that it's fine, because it probably isn't for them either.
That is definitely the one thing that I like about things being online, is the flexibility it gives you to kind of work in your own time. And I'm such an...
This was one really good thing about having online teaching in first year, was the fact that all of my lectures were online and I didn't have the choice of going in person, whereas second year I had that choice and I still went back to online lectures. I just find them so much more efficient and a good use of time. I can play them on ×2 speed, I can pause them, I can watch a YouTube video in the middle, whereas when I go to a lecture I often find they're talking too fast for me to understand, and then I just end up zoning out and it's not an efficient use of my time. So I am really lucky that my first year was like this, because I then in second year had the confidence to be like, no, it's worked really well for me online, so I'm going to continue with this. Whereas I think if they were in person straight away, it would have taken me a really long time to have the confidence not to go.
What I'm going to do is print off a few photos and make some folders for each.
So do we want to see what happened to those folders? They are sat here. I have literally about 8 of them with absolutely nothing in. I remember wasting my time labelling all of my modules with these folders, thinking that I was going to print out loads of stuff, use loads of handwritten notes and printed sheets, a little bit like I did in sixth form. But the problem is you quickly realise that there is just so much content to organise it all into a folder. You're going to be carrying around the most ridiculously heavy thing in the world. And the faster that you realise it is way more more efficient to have all of your notes online at university and on an online format. It also means you can't just lose them and they're all backed up. You can search on your notes using the search bar rather than flicking through thousands and thousands of sheets trying to find a particular topic. I love having everything online, and it's just so much easier to carry it all on my handy little laptop.
There's so much, like there is actually so much work, and right now I just want to cry. I just zero hope in myself. It's just really hard.
It actually makes me really sad watching this back, because I can hear in my voice that I'm trying to convince myself that I can do this and that it's going to be fine. But little do I know, it actually will be fine. The first week is probably one of the hardest, because you're trying to get your head around the new style of teaching at university. The content feels really hard. You're getting back into the swing of things. It's a huge adjustment from sixth form. You're also in a brand new place with brand new people, trying to make new friends. And I kind of wish I'd taken it all a bit more in my stride, gone out and seen more people, because first year really is the time to make friends, make the most of the opportunity. Being at medical school is so exciting. No one expects you to have everything sorted in the first week and be an A-star medical student, and to be honest, it's not all about that. Make sure you balance all the new things and new societies and just go and have fun and take it all in your stride.
I've been crying about how hard the work was.
Now, if you are finding the lectures really overwhelming, a huge tip which I haven't actually heard me mention, so I might not have known about at this point, but it applies to loads of other courses and not just medicine, is to go onto YouTube and find teachers on there, and they make the concept seem so simple. You forget the lecturers are absolute experts in their topic. They know it inside out. I think they often forget as students we really don't have a clue what they're going on about sometimes. So I find just going onto YouTube, they make the concepts seem so much simple and go into the exact amount of detail that you're probably going to need to know for your exams, whereas the lectures can go into a lot of detail and make something quite simple seem really hard. So use YouTube from the start and it's going to make things seem a lot easier.
As today is actually my first day in the medical school, I'm venturing in, I have my mask, I have my hand sanitizer all ready, and I am so excited.
It's like a holiday, isn't it, off to the medical school? Now I literally go every single day, but I remember this was my very first time. I was so excited to have everything all organised. I laid out my clothes the night before. Novelty does very quickly wear off, but it is so nice to go into a different environment to work. I know I didn't really have much of a choice because of what was going on, but I would really recommend going to the library or the medical school every single day just to get into the routine of being out of your uni room, especially halls. You can feel a little bit trapped in them, and just getting out, being around the rest of your cohort is so nice and a really good routine to get into from the beginning.
Actually going. I got up early because I wanted to do some pre-reading that I didn't have time to do last night.
Another tip, don't leave pre-reading for the morning before the lecture. I don't care how early you need to get up, Hannah, it's way better doing it the night before, because then you can sleep on it. You also know that it's done because you don't know how long this pre-reading is going to take you, and I've learned that if you haven't done the pre-reading properly, there is very little point going to the lecture or the SGT because you're not going to understand what is going on. So I would always try to do it the day before and at very last the night before. And also sleep on concepts, and I find just having it a little bit longer to digest it all before you rock up and need to talk about it with everyone else is a lot more helpful, and you're going to know a lot more what is going on and find it a good use of your time when you turn up having prepared, instead of just turning up to something where you're not going to understand what's going on.
I'm going to go to the library, I've got everything ready, and yes, I'm so excited.
God, I've recorded this thing out of my room. Guys, I promise you, my vlogs have gotten a lot better since then. I am literally bored of seeing the same wall and my face. I do now record a lot more of what's going on. This video, guys, is not great. I'm really sorry about this. I hope it has not put you off my channel. If you have decided to stick around, I promise you, we have improved the vlogging skills since then.
If you're ever feeling down or sad, order clothes.
This is an awful piece of advice on how to go into your overdraft and run out of money very quick. It is not good because every time you get sad, it's quite often at medical school. There's a lot of stress going on. And if you're like me and online shop every time, you're going to have absolutely no money. So I would really recommend going to the gym, going for a walk, not online shopping. I need to take my own advice this year, and this habit needs to stop.
I could really do with fitting in going to the gym and doing some food shopping. So
Why am I going food shopping on a Friday? Now, this is not what I do. I always go food shopping on a Sunday because I've probably been out on the Saturday night. I'm probably quite tired, and this is what I'm saying about using my work time efficiently. I'm hardly ever working on a Sunday. I use it to do the food shop, cook all my lunches for the week, and get really organised and ready. And that's what I mean about using your time productively rather than doing a food shop midday on a Friday where my brain's probably still very active, can get a load done before a good break at the weekend.
I'm going to write my Quizlets.
I don't write my flashcards on Quizlet anymore. I use Anki, and if you want to see a full video about how I take my notes and the method that now works best for me, this is the most efficient use of my time ever, and I love this method.
My lectures. So it's now the evening. I don't know where the day has gone.
I actually hate this dress. I look like a cow. It would have been great if it was a fancy dress night, but it was one of the few uni nights that wasn't. We had loads of different themes, so I don't know why on my one night where I could wear whatever I wanted, I decided to dress as a cow. But
such a
you
good
learn.
week, and I'm so excited to end it going out with people that I really, really love. So
to be fair, I still really agree with that. I was so lucky with the people that I met in my accommodation, and we're all still really close. Weirdly, in my flat, it was actually only me and Daisy that got along, but we got so lucky with each other. But because our flat didn't really get along, it meant that we were forced to kind of get to know as many people as possible in our accommodation, and that was how we met the flat next door. And Sasha was from there, and me, Daisy and Sasha lived together last year and then again this year, and I love them both to pieces. And also the boys from the flat next door, we are still really close with. But that doesn't mean to say if you're just on your own in a flat and you don't really get on with anyone, then it's kind of such a good situation to be in, because you're forced to get to know other people, and there will be people in your accommodation or on your course or somewhere that you get along with, that you click with. And the best part of university is everyone's in the same boat, so everyone wants to make friends, and it's such an amazing opportunity to meet new people from all around the country or even all around the world, and make the most of that first couple of months to just meet as many people as possible, because you're never going to be in that position again. In a couple of years time, you're going to look back and wish you could do it all over again, so make the absolute most of it. So there we have my first week of medical school. That was definitely quite painful to sit through, and I can't quite believe how much has changed since then. But there are several things on reflection that I wish I knew in hindsight, and first of all is to try not to get so overwhelmed by the transition, the amount of work, the content, how hard it is, because you will be absolutely fine in the end, and the worst thing you can do is panic. You just need to know that it is going to be so different to sixth form, and it is going to be a step up, but you can do it. If you got the grades to get there, you deserve your place, and it's all going to work out in the end. You're just not going to know 100% what you're doing on day one, and that is fine. You have the whole year, or at least half the year till exams, to work it out, and it's all a part of the process. The second thing is I just wish I made the most of more opportunities and pushed myself to go out a little bit more. I'm not saying you need to go out every single day of the week, but those first couple of weeks are such a good chance to just meet new people. You don't need to be out all night, but just making the most of everything that is going on is so important to have a proper work-life balance, else the work is just going to get on top of you and you're going to feel like you're working all of the time. So even if you are feeling a little bit stressed, sometimes it can be so nice to remove yourself from the situation and go and meet new people. And the third thing is, I wish at the beginning I tried a few more different methods of note taking to find what was the most efficient for me. I'd kind of got stuck on Quizlet because I'd seen it somewhere but hadn't actually tested other styles, which meant that I left it really late before I switched. But that time at the beginning is the time to try lots of different things and see what works best for you, and you do work things out as you go along. My revision method is still changing, and that is so important for learning and becoming the most productive, efficient learner there is. That is the end of today's video. Before you go, make sure you comment one thing you wish you knew before medical school or university, so we can all learn from each other's mistakes. But I really hope you did enjoy today's video. Please remember to give it a big thumbs up if you did, and have an amazing rest of your week, everyone, and I'll see you all so soon. Bye!